Hello friends, and welcome to the Tuesday Sly Paladin update, which is going to be a real doozy in some regards. I'm really quite excited. I do want to start off a little bit more somberly. We had been planning a trip to Disneyland. We were going to leave on Friday with my mother and little bird for his birthmas. Because he was born right before Christmas, we always kind of celebrate it together and make a really big deal out of it. But because of a Pertussis outbreak at his school, we've had to cancel our first class plane tickets, passes, the lovely condo we had rented, and I'm very upset. So please, for the love of all that is not painful, get your vaccines, get your kids vaccinated. As a science hippie, I am happy to talk to you about any concerns you might have about vaccines and help you feel more comfortable with that. Just reach out and let me know. I am happy to help with that. But this is no fun. Let me tell you, it is a miserable, miserable time for everybody in the house, and he's heartbroken. So, alright, sad things aside, let's look at some maps. So you can see that a lot of fill-in has been done on the upper map, and I have outlined the second word, the last word, and I've put in the lights. That was the other thing that we were going to do a little bit differently this time, is I've decided to add yellow glass with lights underneath them under the words, because I really like to be able to see. So let's go ahead and see how much more of that second part of the second word. Words are hard, okay? Oh, I need one more piece of yellow glass. That's why that's a dot. I was looking at the map and trying to figure out why in the top part of that first half of the second word it was not correct, and I was waiting for glass. That's right. I am a little punchy. The fever was something special. Oh. Alright, I don't have to make too much yellow glass. I kind of knew that already. And it's going to look really good. Oh, there's two of them, actually. There's one in the first word, too. You know, aside from everybody sounding like they are 12-pack-a-day chain smokers around here, it's been a good week. All right, so first word, the bird is the word. Oh, my connection's going to be like that today, is it? The downside of living rural. Oh, it wasn't glass, it was gold I was missing. Well, nuts to that. Kapow. All right. Nice. Let's go ahead and finish this stroke at the very minimum. On this beastie over here, actually. Let's pull that map, because that's for the other Badlands, which has been extremely productive. I've been very happy with that. Whee! Boom, look at that line. Oh, I think we're going to do this part now. If we can finish the entire upper half of this, well, upper portion of this word, I suppose, that'd be good for today. And I think, no, maybe not, but we'll get a good section of it. Oh, and I died on Friday, and I was so steamed. Oh, I was steamed. Because and then I was going to go back and get my recovery compass and go find my stuff. And I died a second time, and so you can't use the recovery compass after that to go find your stuff, because it's just going to take you where you died the second time. So I had given up on everything, and I had replaced all my things, the whole mess, and I was farting around down there in the deep dark. I almost called it the Underdark. Shout out to all the Salvatore fans out there. I hated the drow. Absolutely hated the drow. Because everybody was obsessed in the gaming circles that I was in at the time. So I went and made a whole new set, and then I actually managed to find my stuff. So I was really happy about that because there was a lot of gold for one thing. And now I have a backup suit. So very, very pleased with that outcome. Even if, getting to it kind of made me want to rip my hair out. I still have a few pieces of that left, so I'm going to put that away. All right. I discovered a thing while I was dealing with that. Oh, and this, I'm going to have to move my nether portal up there because it's decided to absolutely freak out and glitch just horribly up at the temple, so I can't even really go up there anymore. But let's leave the glass. We don't need it. Leave the maps because I want them to stay here. Don't want them to get misplaced. And oh my gosh, the bundles. Getting really good with the bundles. And you can actually, I've gotten to where I can get down into them and, pick what you're going to take and stuff. I just have to learn to use the controllers, apparently. And of course, started carrying around the ender chest. And do I want that? Kinda. Alright. A little bit low on wood, actually, at this exact moment. Yeah, there's no wood in here, so let's fix that. Do I want that? I'll go over there. Where do we want to go? You're supposed to tell me these things. Especially when I'm this punchy. Let's go look at the word. I don't have the right map anymore. I mean, I could get it, but again, extremely punchy. But also extremely proud of that stinking word. Because that took a lot of time. If you hadn't noticed, it's much more complicated than the other two parts of this particular sentence. And took a lot of tweaking, and it always reminds me of the desert drawings, that kind of thing, and they're always like, oh, how could they have done this? But I think it would have been doable with a grid, honestly, but it just came out really nifty. Imo, in my opinion. Cats are being nuts, Moochie's being loud today. We love hearing Moochie yell. Watching Mary run, because she's like 25 pounds. She's enormous. And she doesn't run exactly, she glumps. And she's playing with her baby. Little Shadow. Oh, she was obsessed with Shadow when Shadow was a baby. She wasn't even... Gosh, she couldn't have been a year and a half old yet when Moochie came to us and we had the babies. And she would sit outside that door. There was a vent at the bottom of the door, and she would just sit there and stare so intently at the kittens. She desperately wanted to get into the babies. And once they were allowed out of the kitten room, she was just always with them, constantly loving her babies. Mary's a very good mommy. Oof. Listen to me wheeze. What have we got here? Whole bunch of terracotta. What a shocker. Shadow says meow. Alright. Oh, hey, there's some... I'll grab that bone meal. I mean, bamboo is the bomb.com in a lot of regards because it'll grow on almost anything. I do not need that much bone meal. That's probably too much too, but you know what? Maybe we'll bring some of the bamboos with us. Oh, I want an axe. And not to put into my skull. I've already been there. Thank you. Oh. 1, 2, 3. I only want 3. And we've been building up an absurd number of diamonds from farting around down in the deep dark all this time. Which is nice. I'm not complaining or anything. Oh, nuts to you. Get back in there. Exactly, ominous music. Just ignore it. It's not diegetic. Bonus points to anybody who can name where that line came from. Do not be rude. It's actually one of my favorite lines. Okay, it's one of my favorite shows just generally. Which means it's NSFW by a long ways. Let's go. On du toi cat. Sexy set wheat. Nerfdies. Come on. Thank you. Butthead. Ooh. At least when it's big, obnoxious, it's giving me quite a bit of material to work with, which I can definitely appreciate. Actually, quite a bit. I'd rather have a tree like this than have one of the smaller ones that took less, bone meal, just because this is more efficient. And a little bit more entertaining to try and find all the parts. There'll be random branches just like sticking out all over the place. Now I want to sing Rattling Bog. I'm not going to because it will make me cough. Even more than that. Oh. And then I'll have a pickaxe in my head again because, God, the headache. It's a favorite song in my SCA group, which, if you don't know, is the Society for Creative Anachronisms. Basically, we dress up like it's the Middle Ages, Renaissance, Dark Ages sort of time period. Basically, anything from the fall of the Roman Empire to the death of Queen Elizabeth, Europe and all the contact cultures, so basically everywhere. And the guys, well, and some of the ladies these days, which I really appreciate. Lots of people put on armor. I shoot a bow. The boyfriend is a rapier fighter. So, and then we have our own little battles. We're not recreating anything. We're not like reenacting specific events. We're just kind of coming up with our own lore. So we have our own, stories and our own backgrounds to things. So, like, there's this one war that takes place every year over on the East Coast. And the story is that because our crowns, the king/queen, is decided by combat every year, twice a year actually, one for summer and one for winter. And, okay, we gotta go downstairs now. We're gonna go back to a different mine because I realized I was missing a whole bunch of stuff there. But so we have, 2 crowns a year, and they have the tournaments. And if you move from one kingdom to the other, well, then you can be the king of one kingdom and then another. And that's what happened. One individual was the king of, I want to say, I don't remember which kingdom it was. One of the Eastern kingdoms, obviously. And he was king of one kingdom, and he decided it would be fun to start, an argument with the kingdom next door, because it's what we do. And so he sent this arrow with a letter wrapped around it to the kingdom next door, and it was, mildly insulting. Your mother sucks eggs, your uncle is a cow, whatever. Somebody smells of elderberries. And, but it kind of got overlooked because there's always that sort of stuff being sent around, and every kingdom is fairly busy. The king and queen are going to be. And their officers who actually run things are sometimes overwhelmed. And so it got overlooked. A couple of years later, same guy goes to be king of the other country, the other kingdom, basically. And finds that arrow, doesn't remember having sent it. And we're back, right? Okay. temple complex is super glitchy. And this is one of the end results. It's going to take it a second to load, and I was going to skip sharing this part, but I just thought that was pretty funny. And then as it loads, you can start seeing some of the little passageways, and I just think that's so storming cool to get to see through like that. I love it when you get to see the 3D representations of a cave system. There's some very good documentaries about the cave rescue in Thailand a couple years back that show the cave complex. So I'm going to go ahead and pause recording again while Moochie howls, because it's Moochie, and wait for this stinker to load. And it's loaded. Actually only took about 10 more seconds. Where's my minecart? There it is. Yay! Alright. We're not going to go a long distance, although I am going to, here in a second, do that zip thing that I like to do. And we're going to go to a different mine, one that I've been to a bunch of times before, but I realized that I've missed a whole bunch of stuff. Alright, let's go zippity zip. So instead of zippity zip, I'm going to finish the story. Because I had to come back into editing and realize that I hadn't finished the story about the war between the king and himself. So he found the scroll, read it, was insulted as he had intended it to be insulting, and turned around and sent back to the kingdom he had previously been the king of, and said, "You dastardly fiends!" and started a war with himself. And of course, this is just the story I was told. I'm no historian for this historical society. I focus mostly in a lot of these different arts and crafty things. I can make darn near anything like the way they did it back then. I teach classes on making drop spindles and how to spin wool into yarn and all that stuff. I think I've mentioned before, and Moochie says, "Ow!" She always has just the most interesting things to say, don't you, Mooches? Yes, she does. But this is just the story I was told, that basically he's the only king in the SCA that ever declared war on himself and lost. Because supposedly, he got his butt kicked when he declared the war over the scroll that he sent to his predecessor, who ended up being himself. And that's kind of how things go in the SCA. We have wars fought over lentils, and I did a representation of the bio-tapestry, sort of recreation that won an award, and it was about one of the wars that we fought over nothing. But that's just what we do because it's fun, and everybody enjoys getting together. And we have, typically we'll have a big feast at the end of things, and everybody, this particular event is called Baron's Ball, and the Baroness leads everybody dancing, and it's a lot of fun for everyone. So if that sounds like your kind of thing, sca.org. There's a branch pretty much everywhere in the US, and then we do have a solid branch in Australia and in the UK. I think there's also a decent branch there. So that's the end of that story. Now we will genuinely zippity zip. Here's a girl. All right, so that stop right there was the access to both the nether portal that I've been using lately just because the other one's being a problem, and the, words are failing me, archaeological dig that I showed y'all before, but this is what I was looking for. And as you can tell, this, if you had noticed, this railing goes through a bunch of different mine shafts, and we're actually going to skip this one's connected to the rest and just visit one of my other favorite, but like, here it is, possibly my number one favorite mine complex slash lush cavern. And you can tell obviously that I have been here so many times. It's pretty extensively lit, but I realized the other day that I've missed a whole bunch of little bitty caverns and spaghetti caves that probably have good stuff in them. And there's always these little things sitting around. Don't exactly need them. Need a bat. I've got plenty of redstone. I've spent a lot of time down here. I'm not actually going to go deep into the mine itself because I want to go up to where the glowstone stuff is. Not glowstone. What am I thinking? Really brain dead today. Wait, there it is. That's what I was looking for. The waterfall, because I know that's what leads to where I want to go. Let me out. If you have respiration on, a little waterfall or a stream of water's better than a ladder. Lush cave, that's the term I was looking for. Okay. Words are hard. Like, I know I path up. It's just a heck of a cave. And I have all these torches. You can see there's an arrow pointing directions because I would get so turned around up here and so lost. And anytime I want more fish, especially a variety of fish, I'll come up in this area because the tropical fish come in pretty decent diversity. But I've not done a lot of delving up here for gold. Well, I'm probably not going to find a lot in this particular portion. I just like to show off what I got up here. As you can see, I've got lots of little bases all over the place, but this is just, it's pretty. Lots and lots of little things. So I think I will leave you with this lovely, peaceful little setting. And we'll see what fun and games we can get up to on Thursday. Thanks for hanging with me.